Okay, best of luck.
Greetings, one and all. It is an honor to be here and addressing this assemblage of august luminaries. I stand before you today not merely as an adolescent, but as a representative of a generation that straddles both promise and peril. When we talk about road safety, we are not just facing and dealing with policies and statistics, but with a catastrophic reality that takes thousands of lives each year. For us, the road is a stage for freedom and thrill. The push on the accelerator is not just the movement of a hand, but a complex interplay of ego, pressure, and rebellion. All these culminate into an illusion of control and unmatched short lived exhilaration. Emphasis on illusion, because a driver, adolescent or not, is never in control. In control is the person in front of us who might suddenly take a left. In control is the speed breaker in front, which could not be seen because it was dark. And in control is the pothole that the government failed to fill. Sorry. In control we are of the extent of harm, which depends on how far along has the needle crossed the speedometer, which is our speed. Further, coming to the topic of helmets, though the simplest and most efficacious safeguard, it is often wrongly perceived as an affront to freedom and considered the heights of uncoolness. Worse even, a few who even dare to don one are met with a lot of ridicule and mockery, ultimately falling prey to the socially sanctioned irresponsibility. Resistance is an art which entails the risk of social seclusion, a risk not many are willing to take. If not this, one might come across a ridiculous argument कि हेलमेट पहनने से मेरे बाल खराब हो जाएंगे, पर मुझे ये चीज़ नहीं समझ में आती, अगर आपका सर ही नहीं बचा तो वो बाल क्या काम के. I'm an adolescent too, but I'm the overthinking introverted kind, with my license in my DigiLocker and my helmet hanging on my Activa's mirror, which is parked right in the basement. But I have my fair share of friends who have succumbed to the ridiculous notion of being cool, who scorn at the idea of applying for a license, to follow procedures and carry legality in their wallets, even though provisions are available for even 16-year-olds to get a license for two-wheelers. The blame here lies with the parents as well. What people don't understand is just having a license is not a bureaucratic formality. It is a psychological hammer. To possess it is to internalize an identity of legitimate, responsible driver. Psychologists call it role identity. So, if without putting a strain on your filial bond and without becoming a villain, correction, more of a villain in your child's life, you want them to be safe, a parent should inform them. It is you who will be paying for the fines and bribes right out of your pocket money. I will only pay for you to get a license. And behold, the licensing authority is suddenly understaffed. Now, I would like to draw your attention to the screen. The images I'm going to show you are not of the teenagers who lost their life, but the people who were left behind, the multi-stakeholder impact of one mishap. I won't be introducing you to it by talking about it. I'm actually a passionate poetess, so allow me to recite something I scribbled while looking at these heart-wrenching images. The father awaits at the door for a son never coming back. Mother praying for the long life of her daughter, not realizing she must have already succumbed to some attack. Akash going to the market to buy flowers and garlands might only return with the flowers around his frames. The arms took in to embrace the beloved Arjun might have to carry his corpse at the end of the day. If the road had a heart, it is now bleeding, as it becomes the bearer of soulless bodies and still hearts, bleeding eyes and lifeless body parts. The souls that dance to the tune of life, and heart that would beat for love and care, eyes that carried dreams and hopes, and bodies that would play into the worldly affairs. If not for yourselves, your safety, stop it for the father waiting at the door, for mother's prayers, for beating hearts, for the hope-clad eyes, for the dancing souls attuned to life. Stop it for Arjun and Akash, putting the petty lawbreaker aside. Stop this for humanity. Drop this insanity. It is not just the adolescent who gets impacted. One mishap, just one, is an irrevocable theft
Yeah.
of time, joy, and potential.
Siya, just make it short. Okay.
All right. I can't. Sorry. It leaves an
Not so
indelible
sad.
void in families and communities. After all, no amount of thrill is worth the tears of my mother or my father. Helmets and licenses are only a few things I could touch upon. I could go forever and ever, because if I was amongst my friends and saying this, I would probably be brandished as an outsider or considered an alien. So it is not really often that I get a chance to channelize my inner emotions and state my inner feelings. So as I approach the end of my presentation, I would like to conclude by saying that it is okay for me to be uncool if it makes me the one calling an ambulance, not riding in it. Yes, it is okay for me to be uncool if I'm not at the receiving end of the get well soon flowers. Yes, it is okay for me to be uncool if I don't have to be the one begging and bribing the police officers. Yes, it is okay for me to be uncool. I am uncool because I understand the gravity of this depravity, the escalating insanity, and its culmination into inescapable fatality. Thank you very much for your time, or as we say it in the Gen Z way, thanks for your time, mad respect, no cap, mic drop.